Hi everyone, I just wanted to give you some additional guidance, some verbal guidance actually, to use while you are working on your health promotion projects. By now, you should have started working on this, and there are a lot of resources posted on the Canvas site to help you with this. I did just want to supplement with some verbal guidance as well, since I know sometimes that helps to hear it rather than read it. Okay, so just to reiterate, this slide that you're looking at right now is taken right off the Canvas site. Okay, so I'm just going over it verbally. This is all readily available on Canvas. Okay, so as you know, you're going to take the data that you discovered with your community assessment. You'll look at those top two health problems that you reached. You'll choose one of them, and from that you will plan and implement a health program in your community. Okay, you had the top two health problems. You can choose either, it's up to you, but you'll need to plan and develop a teaching program within your community based on that topic. Okay, if you have any questions about that or don't know how to get started with this, please don't hesitate to contact me so I can help get you on track. Okay, this semester moves very quickly, and you just don't want to get behind. Okay, so right here on the page, these bullet points are all the components that you need to turn in with this project. Okay, again, this is listed right on the Canvas sheet, or on the Canvas page. These components here are all inside of the planning form that will follow. That's on Canvas. You just click on the planning form, and it gives you the template. The planning form was designed as an easy, concise way for you to get all of these requirements into one neat, kind of concise format. Okay. The only thing you'll have to add on top of that format is your resource page. So citing any resources that you used. Otherwise, all of these components, the audience, the goal, the objectives, the outline, and the process and impact evaluations, there are spots for all of that right on that planning form. Okay, so I'm just going to take a couple minutes and go through the different components to make sure you understand what's included in each. The topic, as you know, your topic is derived from the community assessment. You had top two health problems. You can pick one of the two. If for some reason you need to or would like to choose something that wasn't derived from your community health project, you need to talk to me about that and get that approved before you submit it. Okay, any topics that deviate from this that were not approved won't be accepted. Okay. After you know your topic of your teaching, you need to think about your audience. Your audience is extremely important. It should not be an afterthought. Your audience will guide what you teach, how you teach, the objectives that you set, your goal, right? You would expect different things from an audience of all nurses versus an audience of non-healthcare professionals, right? You would maybe have different strategies for a group of women in their 80s or 90s compared to women in their 30s or 40s, right? So really think about your audience. Make sure that the topic and what you're doing is appropriate for your audience, okay? As far as this assignment, what you need to provide are the number of people in your audience. If you gave us the location of where you're doing it, that's great. A gender breakdown, how many men, how many women, a rough estimate of the ages. I don't need to know exactly the ages of everyone, but if you give us a ballpark of what you were, what your age range was, that's good. Also, if there's any unique characteristics to the group, so say everyone is a member of a certain church, or everyone is a certain ethnicity, or everyone is a factory worker, or everyone is a nursing student, include those kinds of things because that affects the content and the strategies of your teaching, okay? As far as your statement of need, this just as a couple sentences. Why is this program necessary? Okay, why are you doing it? We don't just teach things because we enjoy it or it's an interest of ours or we think it's important. We teach based on need. Okay, so prove to me that this is necessary. Now, since this project is derived from your community assessment project, that has basically already been done for you in your community assessment. So you can just refer to that data, but use facts, not opinion. Okay, this shouldn't take a whole lot of extra legwork for you. Your goal is a broad statement, okay? This is not what you will be doing or saying or what you expect your learners to do, but it's what do you want to happen because you did this teaching, right? So why are you doing it? So an example would be, let's say I'm going to teach hand washing to a group of a kindergarten class at Mary Beck Elementary. Why would I do that? Why would I teach them hand washing? Well, why do we wash our hands? So we don't spread germs. Why do we not want to spread germs? Well, so we don't get sick. So my goal would be to decrease the number of sick days in the kindergarten class at Mary Beck, right? My hope isn't just that they can learn how to wash their hands, but bigger than that, I want them to not get sick. I want them to not spread germs, and I want them to not get sick. So the goal is broad, okay? Now, when we start talking about the specifics about, well, I'm going to teach them how to wash their hands, I'm going to teach them this, I'm going to teach them that. Those become objectives, okay? So moving on to our objectives, if you haven't already utilized the resources on the Canvas site, I would strongly encourage you to do so. But let's just review the acronym of SMART. Objectives should be SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based, okay? Objectives should be learner-focused. So this is what the learner, the participant, what they are going to do, not what you're going to do, okay? And most importantly, objectives should not be an afterthought. This should not be something that you come home after doing a presentation and try to figure out what your objectives were. Your objectives should guide the process, okay? So let's just look at those couple on the bottom and let's review and see if we think those are smart. The first one is participant will know why smoking is bad, and participant will understand when to wash hands. What do you think? Are those smart or are those not smart? I will go to the next slide and I will give you the answer. No, those are not smart at all, okay? Participant will know why smoking is bad. That is very vague. That is not specific at all, and it's really not measurable. How would you measure if somebody knew why smoking was bad? If you left your program and asked somebody else to evaluate it, and you said that your objective was participant will know why smoking is bad, they would have no idea what they would be evaluating to tell if this criteria was met or not, okay? Same with participant will understand when to wash hands. Again, it's not specific, it's not measurable, and neither of them are time-based, okay? So at the bottom, I rewrote both those objectives and made them smart. So the first one would read, by the end of the program, participants will be able to list 2 harmful effects of smoking on the body. And the next, by the end of the presentation, participants will list 2 times when hand washing is warranted. Do you see how those went from non-specific to very specific and from not measurable to very measurable? And there's also a time frame. So we're making it very clear that we expect them to do this by the end of this program, okay? So make sure your objectives are smart. Avoid vague verbs, okay? That's something you need to keep in mind while you're writing these. Okay, moving on to so again, just avoid vague verbs and just keep in mind that the objectives are what the learner will do or say that shows you that they've learned what you've intended for them to learn. Okay, the objective should be what do you want the take home to be? What are the most important things that they're going to come away with that shows you that they've met or that they've learned what you've wanted them to learn? Each objective should relate back to the goal. You should be able to say with each objective that you write, how is my teaching them this? If they do this, how is it going to help me get to my goal? Okay. Your process evaluation evaluates your objectives. The process evaluation will tell you, did you meet your objectives or not? So there should be a process evaluation question for each objective. If you have 3 objectives, there should be 3 questions here. And it should measure the objective exactly. So if your objective was by the end of the program, participants will list 2 occasions when hand washing is warranted, your process evaluation question for that objective should be, please list 2 occasions when hand washing is warranted. It should measure it exactly. It should ask them, should basically turn that question into it basically turns that objective into a pre and a post test. Can they answer it? Okay? It's as simple as that. The impact evaluation, however, looks at your goal. The impact evaluation does not look back at the process. This wants us to look at, did we make our goal? Did we reach our goal? Did we get closer to the goal? Or are we at least moving in the right direction? And keep in mind, this is hypothetical for this assignment. I don't expect you to go back in the future and evaluate this, but what you're going to write here is how you could. If you were going to go back and follow this for impact, what could you do? What could you measure? What data could you follow? What could you do to find out if your impact, if you impacted that goal? So for my example of decreasing sick days in the kindergarten class at Mary Beck, what would make the most sense for me to measure the impact of that? Well, my impact evaluation for that would be that I would track the sick days. I would track them prior to the teaching and then maybe 6 months after and see if I made a difference. Okay, if you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to let me know.